had a few interactions with twins where those of you who I've been coaching for 4 or 5 years now, I've been interacting with you. I'm being naughty, I'm outside, so I'm going to turn the camera away as I'm doing that, and then we'll go inside. We're going to have a bit of a chat. So I wanted to talk about some tips and tricks for triggers, but also what some of these transits are doing to us in our romantic life and our contractual life, and point blank zero, what we can do to navigate it. So I'll wait for a few people to connect. Look at this. Done time, yep, done time. So I'm off to the corner. Look at my poor olive tree. Now, olives are noted for peace dwellers, right? And I thought it was really funny because years ago, the island my father was born in, the olive trees burnt down, and I went, that's really synchronistic, because burning olives is very similar, the leaves is actually very similar in a spiritual ceremony to purifying the land, which at the time there was war between the two, continents, and, there was drama going down. So I'm off the screen, but I am here, and we're going to go inside in a minute because we're going to have a chat about triggers. Triggers, for goodness sakes. The one thing I have noticed, and I always love this of being a spiritual guide and a medium, is we get these things going on, and you kind of, as the collective readers, we get these vibes coming through, and then we kind of digest it, and then we know how to guide you better. But we usually have to personally go through these things ourselves prior, before. See what I mean? You can hear the school. So I've got a school around the yard, and it's a bit noisy, so I had to do the reading the other day, and I was listening to an astrologer, and he was saying the same thing. He goes, those moments where you got to get into a reading and then people call you or there's music playing, and I was like, yeah, I went through that yesterday. And he had the same situation. So I'm going down the vault into the office. See, I am recording. I have done 3 and I'm on to my 4th, and it was like, okay. Oh, heck. Okay, we'll have to make this short and sweet because I didn't bring my bloody charger. We'll see how we go. So the one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, as my head is all going pink, is there are triggers at the moment, okay? So what you're going to get is, because we have Virgo there, what you're going to get is, at the moment, we can be an ego. We can be having triggers. We can be getting to a point, and it is for divine feminine. I had to break it to you. So I might get the charger because this could take a little bit, because we need to break this down. It's a hard part in astrology, but it is one of those transits at the moment for twins, for those of us in romantic partnerships where we're trying to control a situation. We're trying to, and it's through a wound, right? So and I did say about 3 weeks ago that I was sensing that spiritual tests were coming up. So yes, it is. But it's coming up so you can clear it, guys. It's coming up so that it won't control you any longer. And I have been, as I mentioned, touching base with a few twins, but, they have been touching base with me. And they've been going through really hard times, especially in communication with their twin flames. And, even friends and their relationships, and especially Leo, okay? Leo is an Aquarius, but Leo as well. And the reason being, and this did make perfect sense to me the other day, I was like, what is going on with this energy with Leo at the moment? And it does make sense to me. So the notion with the sun is it always moves forward. Now, in astrology, the sun's light. The sun has clarity and movement, and it's bold, and it never goes backwards, and it always goes forward. So it's only natural that in our ego, our healing, through moon phases, we directly are operating similar to Leos. We're, frustrated. We want to move forward. Why haven't we moved forward yet? Now, the reason this can come through in a new moon and a full moon is because it's overshadowed by the moon, which the moon is emotion. It's dark. We usually are told not to do anything either side of that moon phase, especially in void phases. Void phases are really good for ending things. So if you find moving into a new moon and out of a new moon, and you are a Leo, that it's really becoming difficult, it's because the shadow energy is there. So you're usually better to understand that and know that after that effect, you're going to have more clarity in movement, but there's a lesson involved. There's an emotion involved, and we can be frustrated during those times. So yes, at the moment, after the new moon in Virgo, Virgo is critical thinking. It's logic. It is wounds. It's to do with health. It's to do with our logic. And again, sometimes things just don't make sense. And sometimes, you know, A doesn't equal 7, or you get what I mean. And that can reach frustration point. Now, when I say we can't control what another person does, but we can control the way we show up, a lot of times when people hear that, they feel that means the storyline is out of their control. And it's actually the polar opposite. The story is always in your control, and you always can change a story around. And the way you relate to it and the way you react to it, every opportunity of communication is a new beginning, and it is an opportunity to correct it. I had a few instances this week, and it was with family, it was with situations. And being that at the moment Mars is in Libra, I'm a Libra, I had a few spiritual tests, and I was like, okay, first house placement, okay, you might feel YILDIZ is happening to you, but how can I relate to a circumstance differently to get a different outcome? Because we can't change people, but we can change the way we communicate. That may be holding things back. It might be, okay, if I tell Arthur, Martha and May something, it's going to travel through the matrix like wildfire. What would the outcome be to that? You're more cautious about who you talk to. And sometimes people can just naturally mince words and create their own stories. Because again, Virgo is logic, and so depending on what one person's logic is and another, there can be cross wires going on. So trying to not take things personal is difficult, but I'd also say sometimes when we have a wound, it's already there, right? So when the wound is already there, you can get to a space you think, how can I get rid of this? How do I get it out of my body? How do I stop it from affecting me? And usually it's by desensitizing the wound, and that takes practice, and it doesn't happen overnight. But every time it comes up, by relating to that wound differently, you're basically disabling that wound, that it can't affect you the way it used to. So when we talk about forgiveness, it's not really forgiveness. Well, it is, but it's, you know, even the forgiveness to a perpetrator, for instance, it isn't for them. It's so that you can have that what was taken from you. You are taking it back. You can't get the innocence back, obviously. But you can get an element of your life back that you can be in more control and open to connections, point blank zero. So sometimes, especially those of us on twin flame paths, we can say, look, so much damage is done. Is this repairable? I know that, you know, I had to go through that, and I did go through that. And it has actually taught me a great deal about relationships. And I think even the notion of cheating, for instance, in the older times, I would feel it was a betrayal, and I would feel it happened to me. And yes, it did happen to me. But secondary, when we feel that abandonment, it's actually the other individual had abandoned themselves. So it was through maybe feeling ashamed of being able to express what they needed, or maybe circumstances at that time were difficult. Sometimes we can compare ourselves and feel maybe we weren't good in a particular area. Maybe we are comparing ourselves towards a karmic or another person. And really, as you dissect it and shred it down, you are looking at it in so many different ways that you do move into releasing. And you do come back to that space where you are letting go and becoming that new version and moving forward. And it's usually in that moment that we're more open, that we do attract love into our life. But when we're defending ourselves and we're feeling that we need to protect ourselves, it's not necessarily that with a brand new connection that we can avoid those things. But our intuition is higher, but we also won't invest in people that aren't investing in us. We are more selective, but we are not necessarily angry. If you're angry, there's a wound there still. And it's not that you're bad if you have a wound there. And it's not that the solution necessarily would be a twin or a soulmate or a karmic. It's that the key to it is really coming to a space that you can be in the best of vibrations, so that your life will be functional and you can attract something, you know. And I do have a lot of different frequency energies in my life. I did go into hermit mode at a point. But I did actually, through that hermit mode phase, learn a lot about myself. And I feel through the hermit mode phase, you aren't actually seeking outside yourself. Initially, you can be in a great deal of volatility. You can be very mad, you can be sad and angry, you can be spiraling up and down. It can look very similar to depression. Negotiation, the 7 stages of healing. But then it can move into a phase of acceptance and trusting that you can be around people, both lower and higher frequency, but it's how you show up and how you directly will relate to those situations. So with those lower and higher frequency energies that I have in my life, it's how much I give. It's what I choose to give, and that is the control that I have. I also, when they are triggered and project towards me, I find it an opportunity to learn how to relate to them. And you end up being a spiritual guide for those individuals. So it's not about climbing up on a mountain and hiding from people that don't have the same ideals. It's about actually growing through those circumstances so it doesn't define you on your compass. And I feel that when you are reconciling with twins, I think, some of you have this notion that you go back into it and it's perfect, it's a bed of roses. And it's not that it's not. It's that when you go back into a situation after hurt has occurred, don't think there's not going to be work involved, because sometimes there will be misunderstandings. You're learning to problem solve and you end up being each other's teacher. So, both Twin and I, when we reconciled, I would say within the first 2 weeks, I remember being in the room and it was simple things that I'd done a lot of work on myself about that I really had no attachment to anymore. I wasn't the same person anymore. So if that person chose to be in my life, I was extremely happy with that. If that person chose that this wasn't a path for them, I was also very happy with that, because I was very comfortable within my life, be it I had a person or I didn't. I really found my own energy and I had a lot of purpose. And I think it's very important after you've done that soul clearing that you realize you really don't want anything that doesn't want you. So it just won't resonate with you. It didn't mean that I couldn't be in love with someone that maybe wasn't in love with me. That's a falsity. You can be in love and you need to learn to accept what you do love. It doesn't have to look perfect. And when we're judging it, it's through our conditioning that we're actually doing such. The other thing I can say is within the 2 weeks, I did actually have major triggers. And he did find me in the room one day and I was sort of like this, like, oh my God. And he's like, Dale, what's up? And I was like, I'm freaking out. And it was because I had done so much work on my triggers that I was having a panic attack. It was like, whoa, because it was too much too soon. But they were my triggers. They were things that were living in me that I had really been doing work on. And when they were coming up, I wasn't getting triggered by them. And it was a lot at one hit. So it's natural. You're human. You're desensitizing the wound. But when you're training to do that when you're in separation, it's very different to re-implement it inside of a connection. And this can be with soulmate, a karmic, or a twin. Even if that perpetrator energy or the hurt energy isn't in your life and you've moved forward and you choose to be with soulmate, yes, these things can directly affect you, because if you don't have trust, you have to rebuild that up in your life. If you don't have faith, and we're controlling and we have these habits due to dealing with people in different shapes and forms, it can come up in other relationships. So when we talk about healing and we get really angry that maybe the masculine isn't doing the work, it doesn't matter, because you're building your life and you guys are the yin to the yang. So, victim consciousness, Virgo, it's okay. Well, you can have if you choose to have a life in your particular fashion, whatever, your masculine is choosing to do such. That changes nothing if you aren't happy, if you aren't doing the work on yourself. So whomever is coming into your life, you won't control it. You won't judge it. You'll be like, peace out. You want to be here? Great. You don't? Cool. But yes, we are having to face our shadow. And at the moment, it's extremely difficult. But by facing these shadows, you are then having to look at, when you are triggered, say to yourself, am I reacting like a karmic? If my behavior right now is coming up and I was on the receiving end of my behavior, with the way I'm dealing with my wounds, how would I relate to that? How would I, and I think that's the great thing about shadow work, and it's also the great thing about perspective shifting, is that if you can take yourself out of the picture for a minute, oh, I knew he'd call, bless, and look at it from an outsider's point of view of how you think you're going, you can still love yourself if you're having a hard time and go, you know, I'm in the thick of it, but you can go, okay, how am I going to deal with this? I've got to calm down. What do I want the highest octane to be? And many times what we do is, how do I put it? We control it because we've been a masculine energy. We have been. So we tend to be the one to pursue, to react, to solve, to demand maybe. I need to know where we're going. I need to know what's going on. If they're not talking, don't talk. And then when they come back and they're communicating with you, go, right, okay, fresh start, strike, okay, now this is how we're going to deal with it. And you can say what affected you, what you didn't, why you saw something the way you saw it. But don't presume what they were thinking, feeling, doing, saying. You can say it from your perspective of, I felt this way when this happened. These are my likes. I misunderstood. But you don't want to be like, even my daughter the other day, she said something, and there was something I'd posted on Facebook, and it was to do with Father's Day. And she got cross at me and she says, this is the way it is. And I said, but I didn't say how you thought it was. I said how my feelings, I feel this, I thought that, because I can only speak from my position. Now, if you are speaking on another person's behalf, they're going to get peeved. If you are presuming, you are gauging. You can state you are presuming, which is healthy. It's okay. I am offering an exchange here in communication. And you can also change toxicity around in a 360. So if there is a situation where communication is choppy, there's misunderstandings, take a moment. It's still changeable. It's always changeable. Don't freak out. Stop telling yourself those stories. Oh, I'm not going to hear from them for 7 years. Well, if that happens, it happens. You'll heal and you move forward. Very unlikely. Now, what you want to be the highest outcome is to have your needs met. The reason we do go into negotiations is usually because we fear our needs can't be met. And if they can't be met, don't accept less. Just know what your benchmark needs are. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? And then step back and be that truth. Be, well, I like communication. I like to have movement. I would like to get to know you. And if you don't see that, you don't put out. Because once you have the energy intercepting, it's permission-based. And then you're going to go, if you won't get triggered, great, go for gold. But if you do, you've just allowed another energy to come in and take from you, and it's permission-based, and then you're going into a spiral. Well, it's, you know, it's almost like we're telling ourselves, hey, we were going down the aisle, but we've jumped in 20 steps before we've done the base work. And you've got to slow down for your soul's own sanity. But it's also, don't be afraid to have those conversations. There's another conversation I had with Twin this morning, which was one of the lessons he taught me, which was to just be in the moment. I could be dead tomorrow. What would it be like if I was just here in this one moment and, you know, he took me out to dinner and we had a lovely day and it was like, wow, thanks, that was great. Many times we get paranoid because we've had things happen. So when they are doing something great, and that can be any person, a male or a female, a mother or a father, or you suddenly get these great goods coming. And because we have been in this healing mode, we can get to a point we think, well, what does that mean? Is it going to be there forever? Are you trying to pull the wool over my eyes? And it's just take it at face value. Learn to take it at face value. Yes, okay, hold your superstitions. Again, it's wound. But try something new and praise that of what has been given to you, of that of what has been requested. So if you've been saying, I want more phone calls, and you get more phone calls, say, thanks, I really love talking to you. It's giving positive reaffirmation to that person. It then will motivate them because they notice that you're noticing their behavior change, and it's helping them have the trust and faith to move forward with you. But if it's negative feedback constantly, that's wound related and it's not healing the connection. So yes, at times when we've had things go down, we want those deep conversations. We want the answers. We want a bloody apology. But the thing is, if you have reached closure and you know who you are and you're choosing to give a person a second chance, you need to actually effectively give them the opportunity to prove themselves. But sometimes through our hurt, we are retreating back and we can be accidentally triggered. And yes, these things can come up and it can end up being a back and forward rotisserie, and the masculine can retreat, the feminine can retreat, and then we're kind of wondering how each is going. And it's about trying to bridge that gap. Keep thinking about what you want to be, the highest octane of that outcome, and go back to, okay, yes, I have had things happen and it wasn't good. I hated it. You never leave a bad situation without a lesson and a blessing. It sounds messed up, but it's true. We gain heightened intuition. We gain detachment. We gain perspective. We gain empathy because we do things that they do. And usually in a twin flame path, you will mirror each other and you will shift and then do the opposite to each other as well. So many times in my life, with people that I've had in my life, I have ended up being the people they were to me, and then the people they have been to me, we've swapped roles. And that's so you can have that empathy and understanding, and you can spiritually grow and you can relate to each other differently. And I know when we talk now, we have so much wealth of experience that we find human behavior interesting, and we still do fall into the monkey mind. And the monkey mind is more, Sadhguru talks about it as being pretty non-productive. You know, it's spiraling. You go, you know, be on mission. Just don't do things for the sake of doing it. Your mind is in a rat in a cage and you're going and, you know, you think you're doing something, but you actually, sometimes in the ecosystem of life, by interacting with it, you can be damaging it further. It's trust the process that sometimes, like Humpty Dumpty sitting on a wall, everything is in perfect order. Everything is going to flow in perfect synchronicity. A lot of times, have you noticed when you're healing and you're angry and you're mad, you don't hear from twin? The energy in the aura is saying, the universe is saying to you, wow, you're in the thick of it. You're in the thick of it. We're not going to send anyone to you. You're going to mess them up. They would mess you up. So you get put spiritually, what we deem as the naughty corner, to calm down, to understand, to absorb, to digest, to heal. That aloneness is not alone. You're interconnected. You feel each other's energy, okay? You know, I know when I'm hearing from a twin. I intuitively know other people's energy. Soulmates, I feel their energy because I'm tuned in and I'm able to be present. At times I fall into the monkey mind and I tell myself, YILDIZ, you're being a cow. You're triggered. If you are ascended, you better get your ass back there because you're reacting like a child. I have to tell myself off. I had a few of those moments. One, when we're healing we are growing, we don't know what we're doing, okay? And there was a moment I was having during the week, and I've been noticing a lot. The more I grow spiritually, the more I notice. And there was a conflict that was occurring between my kin and I. It was mother. But again, when I calmed down, I saw that person's perspective and I didn't personalize it. If you're personalizing it and it's hurting you, it's because something's there and you need to look at it. And when you detach and you actually grasp, not necessarily what people say always to do with you, it can be you're this, you're that, but then where are they bringing that perspective from? Is that something they believe about themselves? Is it something they fear from themselves? Is it childhood demons? And so when I was able to actually slow down, and I did the most ironic thing to calm me down, it was cleaning, all right? I scrubbed, and because the situation was giving me the shits, I scrubbed the toilet, okay? I like my things clean. And then when I had calmed down enough, I said to myself, you got your shit together now, right? I then went, okay, you can address this conversation now. And I would not give myself permission to intercept until I had adulted up. I was like, zip it, woman. Go throw a tea towel, do what you need to do, but you're not taking that trash to the door. And that is permission-based. That's why I say we have power. What we do with it is our choice, okay? You can do whatever you want to do. Any questions? Got to be quick because this phone's going to die. Got to talk to Twitter and I'm getting back onto the videos. So I have done Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. Leo, your energy already came through very similar to what I said. Be mindful near the moon phases 4 days before and 4 days to a week after. Calm. They're ins and outs, okay? Understand during those times, I would suggest keep neutral. Don't make major decisions. Something's hidden. You may not be viewing something accordingly. You might have a bit of shadow work and then you're coming out of it again. But if you understand that's happening, you'll get the ebbs and flows. Why? Because the sun shines, the moon's darkness. So moving into the moon and out of the moon, you can feel a little bit confused. Just accept that. And then when it happens, you won't go, what's going on? What's going on? Virgo's healing. Okay, it's ego. It can be narcissism. In the higher octane, it can be. But initially, how do we get to the new? We've got to get rid of the old. Got to get rid of that old. Shake it off. Exercise. You know, if you're trying to control something you can on your side. If you're fearing rejection, don't reject yourself. Sit there and listen to how you're feeling and acknowledge it. The best advice I took was that. And it was everything I wanted from my twin, from my mother, from my father, I was like, okay, how do you feel, YILDIZ? Do you love yourself? How are you feeling? Are you angry? Are you mad? Are you sad? And I would listen to how I was feeling. And I started forming a really healthy relationship with me. At times I'll say, if I needed nurturing, sounds pathetic, I'd even hug myself. I'd give myself 5. I'm here for you. I'm here. I've got you. You know, you do have support. It's okay to acknowledge you're feeling crappy. I can do that. How you doing, sweet? Leo next. It's going to be fine. You got this in the bag. It's breathe. Challenge the fear. Breathe. Keep challenging it. I'm going to be good. It's fine. I don't need to control this. I trust that my source, my Gaia, will do anything. Yeah. Look, I put myself in the naughty corner. Yeah. It's hard. And Virgos. So you guys are having a hard time too. It's okay. It's going to get better. It is going to get better. It's hard at the minute. Just be really loving to yourself. We can do this. Yeah. Recuperation. Sometimes you can't see, Emma, okay? It's like you might feel like it's the blind leading the blind, but it's blind faith. But that's okay too. What can we control and what can't we? And it might be that you feel, you know, you're sharp in mind, you got a lot that you're thinking about, you got the intuition happening there, but there could be some complications at the moment. It can be emotions that are coming up that are complicated. I feel recoup and rest. Trust the process. You don't, I'm getting the full card in Tarot. It's a little bit like jumping forward and it's like, but the cliff is really high and I'm scared of heights. It's like, it's all good. Keep going. You didn't know I put a parachute in the bag in your back. You're going to land on your feet. I'm telling you, it's the emotions. It's like, a lot is happening to the divine feminine at the moment. There's Vesta, we've got, you know, Juno at the moment, we've got Mercury retrograding in Libra. I just don't want to do it. Okay? The energy is going to ease up. It might not really feel romantic right now. It might feel too practical and logical. I mean, I've got to be careful what I say because I'm quite a quirky sense of humour kind of chick. It's like too much head. Yeah, and it's like needing a bit of heart. Get back to the heart. Do things that are pleasant. Do things that are nurturing and loving. Have those conversations. Intellectually connect. You know, be playful. I think sometimes comedy is the best recipe. It's, you know, I did a live on Facebook this morning, and it was almost like us getting on the bandwagon of Bridget Jones's Diary, and it's like, oh, and it's like, yeah, okay, there's a time and a place for that. If you're feeling down, you need something that is going to keep you on that medium ground, or you need something that's going to pick you up and pep you up. And if you're feeling unmotivated, yellow chakra, orange chakra, anger and aggression, overactive joint energy. That's anger. That's two masculines in the punching ring. Move down to the feminine. Let go. Get the anger out. Write it down. Journal. Go into receptivity. Yeah. And again, if there's passion, there's great love, but there can be anger. And it's like, don't control it. If they think you're that great, they're going to be coming back. I've had arguments with my partner. We don't agree on everything. We're still here. I'm not perfect. Heck, I can be a cow sometimes. But we have a friendship. And that's what you need. We talk about the past. We talk about our families. And some things we can control and some things we can't. And it's heartbreaking. But that's where life is, right? And so it's about focusing on the things that you do have that are blessings. Looking at the things that are painful and knowing that you're not doing the work in vain. It is going to be for a purpose. It's not for nothing. But we also have to have passion in life. And at this time, with Mercury gearing up, ready to go retrograde in Libra, maybe it's asking us to look at those things instead of looking at a relationship as a job. The relationship shouldn't be a job. Where can we look at a passion in our life? Where can we get that balance? Is it our diet? Is it our health? Is it us being on mission? Is it looking at ourselves in a balanced format that we have the shadow and we have gold as well, and that's okay, that we don't need to be perfect, but we can't expect others to be either, okay? I had this time during my nightclub years, I don't know why nightclubbing's coming up, but my daughter brought it up this morning with music, and I was like, man, I had the best of times. You know, my night clubbing years, they came late. But when they did, it was a little bit like a spiritual dance, right? As my dad used to say, you know, to get the bad energy out of you. Because it's exercising, it's sacral chakra. What do they say? Get the devil out of you. You know, exercising to get the negativity out. Now when I look at it, I think, I just want to barbecue. You know, cool card. We're moving forward. This is where we are with this Virgo energy moving forward. You need to be like the Fool card in Tarot. Scary. Infinite ways this can go. Universe is always going to give you what you deserve. Yes, what we deserve is like everyone else. We equally get our share. If we're manifesting all the time, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. You're going to get bad. Stop telling universe that. Stop it. Relax the pain. Come back to this moment. Because your magician energy, guys, you're going to manifest it. So if the mind is the monkey mind, come back to this moment and just go, no, it's going to be good. It's going to be fine. Universe is going to give me the balance, which is what? Good and bad. Yin and yang. We have good days. We have bad days. But it's not going to be all yuck. You'll get tired of yuck. It'll be like eating hay. Look at that. Kind of looks all really greeny blue. It's probably because I've got the computer on behind it. Maybe. Anywho, I used to have the straws at the club. The beautiful bartender would always give me the straws. And I had a few accidents. You know when you've had a bit too much and you're like, yeah. I had one of those moments. And I vowed never to use straws again. The only thing I have straws with is a coffee. And it's so I don't spill the blasted milk in the car. Other than that, I'm telling you, you know, those straw wounds, they're bad. That's like a karmic right there. So anyhow, take a breather. I'll be back tomorrow. I do have a lot of psychic downloads for you for the Twin Flame Collective. Thank you for your super chat. Just breathe. It's hard. It is going to get better. It's not happening to hurt us. It's happening to free us. It is happening to free us. It's helping us to be healthier. It's helping us. And this is all going down right now to prepare us for 2022. We're going to have Jupiter in Pisces, which is the 12th house, all the vault and the spiritual imprisonment, the things in our mind that are unhealthy, the unhealthy ways, right? So the unhealthy way could be, oh my gosh, I'm triggered, I'm going to have a glass. Oh, I'm triggered, I'm going to have, you know. And it's about finding unique ways to deal with the wound. So we don't have to keep doing that. Because that takes a lot of time and money up, and it taxes us spiritually. So how can we deal with communication, with our health, with our well-being, with, you get my gist. It's prepping you for 2022, right? I'll be here. I'm optimistic as, yes. Exactly. You guys should be super proud. You know, this astrology goes all the way back to 2008. 2020. I mean, I don't recognize myself. And I don't mean visually. I mean from where I used to be, you know, first house, Mars in the first house. Yeah, I could be running around, you know, making myself look sprucey, changing my hairdo. I've got makeup on today to do the videos, but also a lot of Libras are probably going to feel like they're being spiritually attacked. But again, what is it teaching us? Can we look at something different? Can we change our behavior? Can we deal with it differently to, you know, how it was? Can we feel everything's happening to us right now? I mean, Mercury's going to be retrograde, so what are our actions? That's what we can control, not what other people think. We can view and maybe have an outward look at it and go, that's interesting. Maybe I need to look at that a little bit more. Maybe, and Libras generally do look at the yin and yang, but Mars is there. So, you know, this is about us creating healthy boundaries. It's like, look, okay, I can do this or I can't do that. Don't speak to me that way. Again, I tried to take the high road, but that was for me. Because I don't want to give negative energy, which is a waste of time. Because as we used to say to children, it goes in one ear and out the other. And if that's what's happening, then go back and don't talk. And then when the person comes to you and goes, what's the deal? Well, X, Y, and Z, you know, it's like. And then they're like, ooh, better go and reflect on that. And then, you know, they say it again. You say it again. I'm just saying, this is what I'm saying, and this is how it is. And at some point, they're going to have to look at it. Or at some point, they're going to have to accept you won't dance with the devil. Any more questions? Because I'm going. You'll be like, nice chat. That's what my twin says. We have this language, okay? We've got this language of comical laugh. We're both very sarcastic. So most of you that have been with me for a long time know that the sarcasm that my twin would have over the years was, you know, I don't need to say much, right? So instead of him giving me a direct sentence, which I felt very disrespectful, and he knew that, so he would do it just to piss me off, he would write K, and it wasn't okay, it was K. So we have this sarcastic thing, and some of my subbies actually use that now. So it's like, if it's a text message back and forward, mirror their text messaging, 100%. I could give you guys so much tips on how to play them. But it's not how to play them. Do the mirror. How that person is reacting. If they're in silence, go into silence. And then they go, why haven't you called me? Why haven't you called me? I've just been busy. Right. So if it's not a full sentence written back, delay, write a short sentence back. Emma, are you there with your partner right now? Are they listening to me? Hear me with it, sister. Are they finding this very amusing? Anyhow, so yes, we laugh about this and we do talk about our past. We do talk about, you know, what we learnt in connections. We talk about how we mirrored each other. You know, a candid chat the other day was a lot of times we want to jump in and, you know, we want to run down the bloody aisle before they've actually made the cut. Where are we going? What's going on? And it's like, man, why am I asking these questions? And this doesn't have to be twin, but they're probably wondering the same thing as we're wondering. It's not, hey, do we want to be safe? But it's, hey, have I decided if you've made the cut? Can we just go into, wow, that was a wonderful meal. Man, it was great to catch up with you. Such a good day. Obviously, if we're going 6 months into, I'm calling it 1 o'clock in the morning for a bit of smack that, you to the left. If you're doing that, okay, you might as well be. I'm probably going to get myself Mars and Libra. I'm just going to say it. You're probably at the circus, okay? It used to be a fun house, but now it's full of evil clowns. It's because you're accepting the 1 o'clock in the morning phone calls. Do not answer. Call me at a more... You can text a message back and go, you're right. But if it's for a tap that, smack that, yeah, no, to the left, call, and then ring them back in the morning and go, I'm sorry, I missed your call. And if they don't answer, they're lost. It's not when you click your fingers. It's earned. This is what I mean by you do have power. And it's not down there. It's not. It's the way you react. It's self-worth energy. Yes, I'm worth it. Of course they would want to call me. Why would you be surprised? Yes, I'm a good person. Yes, I'm a bad person. I have my evil moments and I have my need to grow up moments. But, okay, if you're calling me at that ungodly hour, well... I hope you got a few numbers in that phone because I ain't answering. Yep. Oh, call you the next day. How you doing? Now, if it was you guys were talking back and forward and it's sweet and maybe something's happened, yeah, that's different. But if it's at a drop of a hat and if you're power lunging their phone, no, they're not going to answer. They're going to think, it causes panic attacks. Calm down. Too much. And we're doing it because we want to solve something. There might have been a misunderstanding. There might have been intensity. If there's misunderstandings and you refer back to what the confusion was, you do expect a message back right away. But don't, okay? Because that's you. That doesn't mean it's them. And if they're really peeved and they're still learning to gain maturity because they have had toxic relationships, not necessarily automatically right away are they going to relate to you the correct way. You're teaching a person how to have a healthy relationship. And that's your nav man. You have that power. You're like, okay, I'm going to show you what I do and don't like. It doesn't matter what happened with those guys. Or, you know, this is what works with me. That's my power. Oh, but there's a lot of other people. Oh, go along with you. No, if it's a spiritual connection and that person finds that there is something between the both of you, it will be investigated. It will be. Emma had hers. Who do we have, Poppy? A message for me, please. Why do I see art around you? I see art. What's the art everywhere? Okay. Was it to do with the past? What was said? I need something here, and it's only because of the context of the card. I think number one, I would say they feel you have changed. I also feel that they're open, but you're choosing healthy. You've done some reflection. But you also have needs. That's what I would say. You got the 7 of Swords, okay? He probably thinks I don't love him no more. This poor masculine of mine. Yeah, I think I think there will be a conversation, but I see art, doll. I'll have to go in a minute because I'm getting a few phone calls and the phone's going to die. So I feel there may be a phone call. They're gauging if you're not going to snap them or bite them, but I don't think you will. I think you're quite... I see creative endeavours around you. This could be a location. Maybe you guys end up meeting at. It could be a coffee shop, a cafe, an art gallery. But I see art. You'll know what it means when you see it. You'll be like, YILDIZ said this. Because I'm seeing imagery. This could be you or him. It's artistic endeavours. It's either paintings or, like I said, a coffee shop and it's got beautiful artwork. It could be a restaurant you go to. I did art in the past. I won't. Yeah, but it feels nice. This person feels they've evolved. It feels nice. I feel it could be like a restaurant, or you may end up in a studio at some point and, you know, be having some artistic endeavour. It could be a joint venture you end up doing, but I'm seeing art. Yes. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you. But I feel it's heart-centered. I don't have a bad feeling. I feel these are the times at the moment to have opportunities to heal and to be open. You said something to do with... Oh, yeah, mine started going funky too. It's there, Dale. Trust the process. Don't question. You know, my mum years ago, she said to me, I gave her a reading and I said to her, you're going to travel. Oh, I can't because of this and this and this. And I went, look, I'm just telling what I bloody see in the cup. You have an aeroplane, you have travel. And I purely felt it was done. Like, you know, this is the way you have to manifest, guys. It's like it is. Stop getting the ego, the monkey mind involved. It castrates you. It messes up the manifestation because it's due to fair. So it ended up being that this gentleman paid for a ticket. He, you know, paid for a passport, paid for accommodation. She was able to go on holiday. None of that was sorted. So don't question how. Question what you want. Put it out to the ethers and let it come back. Now, I will be back again tomorrow. I have done so far Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. All of you guys, the fire signs were really interesting. Sagittarius, you guys want to break off the shackles and heal. You're getting rid of the cobwebs. Leo, you guys don't sabotage yourselves, please. Calm your farm. Calm down, okay? You are going to have everything. Just please know who you are. Aries is about to make a major decision. Aries knows what they want. Aries is going to see everything that they need to see to be able to make their decision. It was all there. They're short and brief. Aries was straight to the point. It was like, okay, that was the worst quickie in the world. It was like, nah, wouldn't buy the t-shirt. See you later. Bye. It's like they've had enough. Anywho, I love yous. I'll see you soon. I'll upload those ones. So those of you in the membership hub, you guys will get the pre-release content first. And then the extension will be up there as well. And I'm getting onto Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo next. Yeah, and then I'll do the Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Libra. You get my gist, okay? I've left those ones because I usually do those first. I've swapped it on this occasion to get the momentum and the fluid, so I'm not using one particular zodiac sign as a trainer wheel. I don't want to do. I want that flow to go. Okay, love you lots, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow for the Twin Flame update. Lots to tell. I have a whole page. I'll see you then. Bye.